Professor Julio Rivas from Lipscomb University is joining us tonight to talk about inflation and all sorts of things impacting our budgets right now. Man, I know that they are struggling. So thank you for being with us. Feel free to call in, ask your own questions. I've got a lot too tonight. 615-737-PLUS is the number. This conversation has been delightful so far, if it weren't just for such a nagging topic that's really, like a thorn in our side for all of us right now.
Yeah, it's the conversation's great, the topic.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah, but
you know, one thing that a lot of our Facebook viewers are talking about right now is that we have seen prices for all of these goods just go so high, and yet wages are not keeping up. Is that what we historically see?
Yeah, I would say it is a thing that happens a lot of times. I mean, it's wages don't go up as fast as other goods and services. You know, I mean, if our wages increase as quickly as gas, you know, I mean
that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But on the other hand, we'll say, well, that will also create more inflation, right?
So we have more money to spend.
We'll have more money to spend. You know? Yet, the actual amount of money that we're able to spend with inflation goes down, because in real terms we're buying less with the same amount of money. Yeah.
Right. I mean, right now my paycheck is going a lot, you know,
sure,
not as far as it usually does, and I'm not alone. I know that.
Yeah. But then it's. This is a contradiction in a way, because we also know that there's a lot of, you know, that we have unemployment levels that are record low. You know, I mean, a lot of people are getting jobs, and that is one of the positives, if we may, of you know, pumping a lot of money into the economy. That it's more and more people get jobs. You know, but you bring a good. I mean, yes, you know, they have jobs, but how far along, you know,
how far can that paycheck go right now?
You know, I mean, and if you have to commute 30-40 minutes every day both ways, you know, and no, your everything goes to pay your gas. You know?
Exactly. I do want to go back to where I asked you first, and I said we're going to get to this because this is the main question I want answered tonight. Is there relief in sight?
Well, that is a great question, right? I will give you a theoretical answer, and then what I've seen. You know, it's in theory, what economists say that takes care of inflation is if interest rates go up. And we've heard the Fed say that they're gonna be increasing the interest rates. It's the explanation is very simple. If interest rates go up, you have a higher incentive to save than to spend money, right? So instead of using all your money to buy more things, you're gonna save a little bit more. Now, on the flip side, who gets loans? Well, if you wanna buy a house, it's gonna be more expensive, right? If you get a mortgage, of course. If you wanna buy a car, if you wanna have a business loan, you know, it's gonna be more expensive. You know? So all of those things. What happens at the end? Well, less people are gonna buy homes, so the prices of homes are not gonna go up as quickly as they have been going right now. You know?
Yeah, so it's kind of, you know, good on one side, but then it gets you on the other a little bit.
Yes, it's and that's the economic cycle. There's always ups and downs, right? And that is most likely the solution. Increase rates. Now, I was reading, and this is very interesting, because a lot of times when rates go up, there's fears that there might be a recession and there might be economic problems. Right now, economists, I read an article on Bloomberg not that long ago, and I think they had the recession probability at 30% right now, which is. You know, it was 10% a year ago, 30 right now. It's not terribly bad, you know, but there's always that fear that it might happen.
Oh, there is. There's a huge fear. Everyone says it's coming. Yeah. It's coming. Get ready.
Yeah.
What do you look for in signs that would say, okay, this is a probability. We need to brace ourselves. What as a finance guy?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of indicators in the economy. I mean, rates certainly are going to be leading, right? So one of the first things you're going to see is that rates are going to go up. You need to check whether, you know, jobs, for example, that's another important indicator as well. You know, it's if businesses, instead of hiring, are laying off people, well, that's a sign that
Things are not going in the right
things are not,
direction.
yes, and we've saw some businesses that have laid off people, but it's at this point right now I would say it's an issue of the company proper. For example, Netflix, I think they laid off 150 people or something like that, but it's an issue of the
More
company.
internally.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I don't think
Not
it's
a trend.
I don't think it's a trend. Hopefully it will not be a trend,
Yeah.
but
Wait and see.
yes, that is correct.
Let's get back to the phone lines. Barry is on the line. Hi, Barry.
Hello, how are you?
I am great. Go ahead.
Listen, I appreciate y'all having this topic. I really feel like the whole thing got exacerbated by when, we shut business down, and then we offered the unemployment, and then we offered the extra food stamps. And what it did is it created, to me, in my opinion, is people not being able to go back to work.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that struggle, haven't we, from all those help wanted signs up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody, this is my opinion only. I'm certainly no expert, but I think we exacerbate the whole process when, I went through the whole process. I did not get to miss work, and I did not get the extra pay or anything like that. I had to be there. I had to go to work, and I'm thankful for that. Then I was watching people get these extra $300 and $400 a week on their unemployment, and it's like, to me, that was just money just illy spent.
Yeah.
If that's the correct word.
Well, it works. We know what you're talking about. Thank you for calling in, Barry. And just like you were saying, Professor Rivas, is that there have been so many contributing factors to where we are today. You can't point at one thing.
Sure. No, there's a lot of different. Economics can get very complex. There's a lot of variables. No, two crises, can be caused by very, very different factors. And in this case, well, I mean, what Barry is saying, you've seen people, companies paying way more than minimum wage to hire people because it has gotten very, very complicated. And surely, it's good if you have a higher pay, but then we were saying about that, how do you recover that money? Well, you charge it to your customers.
Right. Customers are, again, paying more for something else, and it's it's so inevitable.
It's the
the cycle. Cycle continues.
That is correct.
Okay, I think it's Tara. It may be Taylor. Taylor, you're on the line with us. Good evening. Thank you for being with us. Hi there. Go ahead.
Good evening to you, and good evening to the professor.
Good evening.
This is a long and strenuous questions, problems we've got. I'm old enough to know one of the last serious recessions we had like this, and inflation era, I should say, and that was the late 70s and early 80s. I was working and making good money at that time, but I was trying to buy a house, and the interest rate on a 25-year loan was 11.25% interest.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Wow.
And compared to 5.5 right now. But there were, of course, plenty of homes being built at that time. But just to give you numbers on this, I was looking at a house that cost $140,000 at that time, which was more than I could afford, especially at 11.5% interest. But that house, it was new. It sat empty for 8 months.
Wow.
Prices kept dropping, not only on that house, but on a lot of houses. So I wound up buying the house for $104,000.
Wow.
Knowing, still paying that same interest rate, but knowing and mainly hoping that I would only have to pay that for a couple of years till the interest rate come back down, and then I could refinance, which I did. It worked out perfect for me. But that's not to say that it works like that for everybody, and it's a different day, different time. But that's just a point I wanted to bring up, because apparently these interest rates, whether you're buying a car or anything else, credit card or whatever, it may not get to that point, but it's going to get a lot higher than it is right now. If the real sufferers are the elderly that are on Social Security and have limited savings, and those making less than $30,000 or $40,000 a year with a wife and a child or two, this is going to be tough. And a good deal of the, in my opinion, not only was the COVID and a big problem for nationwide or planet-wise, but the overstimulus of low interest that the government was handing out to all these corporations that could buy up every apartment building, nice, old, whatever, at almost zero interest. And that's what has happened to the real market, because even individual homes are now owned by thousands.
That's true. Yeah, corporations.
Big corporations.
Yeah.
And it just wiped out the Ma and Pa's next door house that they rented, or if they owned a duplex, they wound up having to sell it. So that's part of my contribution.
Well, Taylor, thank you for calling in. We do appreciate hearing that from you. He brings up a lot of great points.
Goodness, yes.
We have to take a quick commercial break. Let's do that, and then let's dive into what the housing industry is dealing with right now. So we'll do that when we come back. Stay with us right here on Open Line.